All right, Dave, tell us how you started with Ross, how you guys got started writing the book.
Well, really, it was kind of in my mind, it was a bit of a fluke. I got a call a few years ago from Ross when he was writing the code, and I guess he wanted my opinion about the code, in the game of hockey amongst fighters, and so we started talking, and I started answering him, and as we continued to talk, realized that he was from Minnesota, and I grew up in St. Paul, and so we just kind of clicked on that one, and then realized we had a bunch of mutual friends, and so the stories started flying around. And by the time we got off the phone, just before I hung up, he says, "Well, Dave," he says, "you got quite some stories there. You got to think about writing your own book someday." And I just shuffled it off, hung up, didn't think any more about it. And about a year later, it kind of kicked into my head that I wonder if there is something there to be written down. And so I called him back and I said, "Hey, Ross, how do you go about writing a book?" And he says, "Well, the biggest thing you need is a publisher." And I said, "Well, how do I do that?" And he said, "Well, let me get back to you on that." And he called me back a few days later and he says, "Well, I got a publisher." And I said, "Oh, now what do I do?" And he said, "Well, now you got to write a book." So that was kind of the genesis of how it all started.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of great stories Ross was writing in the book. Is there one that's your favorite that stands out the most?
Oh, you're right. There's a lot of great stories, and there's even stories that didn't make it in there. And certainly some stories that I didn't even want in there that never got written. It's kind of like locked away somewhere for sitting amongst friends in a quiet corner somewhere. But one of the funnier stories that I have is when, and that I enjoy thinking back on, is my first fight scene where the Hanson brothers finally dropped the gloves, and I grab a hold of a guy by the shoulder, spin him around, and throw a big haymaker and knock him down. Well, when we were shooting the film, it just so happened the first guy that they picked out for me was a guy that I actually played against, and I didn't really like very much. I never had an opportunity to settle a score with him after trying to chase him around the rink. And so here was my opportunity. So after George Roy Hill, the director, showed me that, Dave, you can really miss him by this much. The camera angle is going to be such that it looked like you really clobbered him. Don't worry about it. So when he yelled action, I spun him around, I nailed him right square in the jaw and knocked him out, and the director just about flipped his lid, and I said, "Hey, it's the first time I ever done this, I didn't know." So that was a pretty good time.
All right. Well, you played on a lot of hockey teams. Is there one that you enjoyed the most playing for?
Well, not really. Every team I played for, it's always about the guys. The guys always make the team, and then it's the experience after that. So, there are certainly some more favorable times with some of the ranked teams than others, and maybe some teams that I enjoyed playing less on, or at least cities I played less in. But from the Minnesota Fighting Saints to the Birmingham Bows to the Minnesota North Stars, they were all great times just because I was able to play hockey.
Is there a proud moment that you're most fond of in your hockey career? Something that stands out?
Well, one of the big thrills I had was in the American Hockey League winning the Calder Cup trophy with the Adirondack Red Wings, and then after having a team that had players like Peter Mahovlich on it, Tommy Blaine, the Stanley Cup winner, Bill Hogaboom, former captain of the North Stars, and a couple other star players, that they chose to pick me as the most valuable player of the team. So that was a pretty humbling and as well as exciting time for me.
Well, as the Hanson brothers, you and Jeff, and God, I forgot his name already. Steve, how can I forget him? You guys travel around as the Hanson brothers for charity.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, that's one of the great and wonderful spin-offs of our fame as the Hanson brothers, is that we've been able to travel literally throughout North America and even over into Germany and help charitable and needy causes raise money, whether it's through playing charity hockey games or just making an appearance. It's really been a great opportunity for us, and something that is always fun as well, besides being very helpful to someone.
Well, Slapshot 3 is out, right?
Yeah, well, it's coming out
It's coming out soon, next week?
25.
Okay, now, there's no way, it's a family movie, is that correct?
Well, we felt, because our fan base is so wide range,
right,
from folks of the golden age all the way down to ankle biters, and so we convinced Universal Studios that, hey, let's do something that the young kids can legitimately watch, that dad or mom doesn't have to fast forward or plug the ears or cover the eyes. And so they came up with a really nice story, a PG version called Slapshot the Junior League, and a little different twist here. The Hanson brothers are not playing hockey this time. We have gone to the way of the Zen. We have become Zen masters, and we teach Zen hockey. But of course, you can only imagine that lasts for only so long, and then all heck breaks loose.
Okay, well, plug your book. Hold it up there. Let's see. Where can you buy this book?
Well, you can buy them, at any of the bookstores. Slapshot Original, The Man to Foil the Legend, and if you don't get an autograph book at any of the signings that I'm at, then go to slapshotoriginal.com and put an order in there, and I'll be glad to send you one.
All right, thanks, Dave.
Okay, my pleasure. Old time hockey.